Everyone. Greetings, everyone. How y'all doing today? Brother Anthony K. Davis coming to you live in effect. Hope all is well. I know all is. Now, today's going to be a really good video because we're going to be dealing with a lot of spiritual science when it comes to here today with, which I'm so honored to present, dealing with the spirit and the divination system of Orakan. That's right, people. I've been really blessed and privileged to be able to introduce this information, and I hope this resonates with a lot of you all. And for those who do, we'll be looking forward to working with you soon. All right. So I'm going to make this really brief, and it was going to be a lot of information I'm going to cover throughout the year when it comes to this. This is going to be a spiritual system that's going to stick here on the planet for some time, coming from my mouth, and it's actually been a spiritual system that has actually been on the planet prior even to me being born, and I've just been able to retrieve it, reactivate it, and keep this thing moving. So it's been really, really good. So I'm excited today, y'all. No formal script, just straight spirit. So let's get into this thing. All right. So what is Orakan? Now, everyone is familiar with different forms of divination. Whether it's coming from whatever culture, using whatever system, we're familiar with spiritual readings, right? So we know that's nothing new to the planet. That since the beginning of time, the creation itself has a form of divination. This planet has been willed into existence, has had a form of divination. Every being that has existed has had a form of divination, even humanity. All right. And then before we come to this earth, we have the same process. So, that's what we call destiny and divination. Okay. Now, also, people are familiar with creating their own spiritual entities, right? So you can Google, YouTube, a world of information of people creating their own spiritual entities using what they call sigils, right? Sigillum, and things like this here. Now, with that being said, if you can watch some of the previous videos I did on like the Oracle consultant and animal totems, but I mentioned briefly that basically I had got a channel last year, 2016, that these I had a lucid dream about these turtle shells communicating with me. I seen myself clear as day using them. They speaking to me, man, it was some powerful stuff. And at that time, I instantly knew that it was a form of divination that I should be using. And I'm still digging every day, every week, every month. I'm still digging, learning more on the science of it is. And it's been the subject I've kept to myself for a minute. You see, so now that I got to the level that I'm able to share it, I'm so glad once again to give the information here today. All right, so I've had this channel. This ties back into, they say they call this system traditionally like oracle bones or dragon bones. See my dragons still, right? Oracle bones, dragon bones. What this is mostly this information comes from the Shang Dynasty, dating back, long time ago. You can Google Oracle Bones and look at the world on it. I'm going to be, sharing a lot of information behind it, right? So basically, it's a form of spiritual divination where back in the ancient times, they was able to take this here piece of shell, draw on this here piece of shell, turtle shell, and with sigils or characters, right? Chinese characters, what have you. And many cultures did it, differently throughout the world, and been able to use this by writing on this as a form of divination and as a form of saying, hey, well, what's going to be happening for this new year? Should I travel? Should I make this trade? because back in ancient times, they didn't have a phone like we did to call somewhere to Africa, or, they couldn't call you down the street or anything like that. So for them, then with the ancient mind, they had to be sure that if they finna journey, outside of their telekinesis, of course, if they're going to physically journey, they want to make sure that that journey was going to be successful. So they used all forms of divination to align with the stars and to align with the situation and of commerce, before they made certain moves, for example. All right. So what I went on ahead and did was I knew that I couldn't retrieve certain lost information about this Oracle Bones. And once again, I'm still studying a lot of information. I learn something new all the time about this, but I knew a portion of it, which a lot of things is just lost. It is what it is. So thanks to great teachers, great leaders, I've been able to know, like, okay, well, you can reactivate these things. So I spent some time in the lab reactivating, revamping, and lining this thing up to what it needs to be, right? So basically, if you're familiar with the I Ching and you're familiar with mythology throughout the world dealing with the turtle, I mean, you can go on and on and on and on. But I say the I Ching and Oracle Bones because that's what most information that's kind of out on the public that you'll be able to get when it comes to dealing with the science of the turtle shells as far as aspects of the divination, because it was mostly used with the piece. All right. So basically, but in my dream, I was able to use the way I was divining with them, were divining with them and the pieces. Now I seen and I know that it was 13. So these are 13 different real turtle shells that I was able to retrieve. Very hard to get, right? And I was really blessed and fortunate to be in this situation. Now there's the number 13 is a very powerful number. So 13 actually is even if you look at a turtle shell's back, for those of you who haven't really seen a turtle, but 9 out of 10 turtles have 13. I still haven't seen a turtle to this day that doesn't have the 13 shells on them. Like, it's literally 13 shells, on the back. And the turtles represent divination. That's how they was able to use with time and get certain information. You see what I'm saying? So the name of this spirit in this form of divination is Orakan. Orakan, Orakan. And basically Oro is short for oracle, right? And Khan. Khan is like king, royalty, Nubian, right? Gold, power. So Orakan is like oracle king. So this is like the king of oracle divination. All right, Orakan. So this is going to be used for, will be used and has been used for, the king's and queen's form of divination. There was like public divinations, like people might use, certain ruins or certain things like this, right? Certain divinations, but this was held for the kings, the countries, dealing with, the outcomes of war and outcomes of nations, crops, goods, lineages, bloodlines, this whole thing's power alignments. So this was kind of like the reserve aspects of divination. You see what I'm saying? Now, it's also dealing with the 13, is a sacred, powerful number. We know that. 13 deals with cosmic time, creation. 13 tones in the universe. All right? Now, dealing with that 13 in alignment, which represents time, and dealing with, obviously, the turtle represents time, and even on the 13 moons, you'll see that is the highest, is the 13 outcome. Okay? And we know 13 zodiac and all this. This lines right on up to it. 13 being a lucky number or what have you, for us, right? Now, there's also the ancestors speak heavily through these here. I'm talking about strong, because they was able to use these things as a form of time. And that's why the ancestors speak so strongly through them. So guys, I'm going to be performing divination with these And basically, based off the cast is how able to determine the fate of your reader. All right. So let's see. All right. And as you see, the sigils made for the Orakan. All right. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, very good message. So this basically is a message. What this message will be saying is the sign of creativity, the sign of actually saying what we're doing now. This is a creative process of what we're going through.